Rapid fire questions. Rapid fire questions. Go.
One more time.
Rapid fire questions. Okay, so ROEN is a first of its kind formula. Exhibit A, right here. So the difference between these eyeshadows is definitely the formula. It's the size of the pearl that is in the eyeshadow. So there's various different sides of pearl, and it really has its own texture. You'll notice if you compare it to other eyeshadows, there really isn't anything else out there like it. And it's made to just be really easy to use. So that was the goal when I created it. I wanted it to be something that you can literally just throw in your bag, swipe on your eye. You don't have to overthink it, but the colors are perfect and it gives the perfect amount of light and shine that really gets you a million compliments. It is like a firm cream. So someone, once I launched the line, gave it the best description. It would feel like a stick of butter that you take out of the fridge. So it's really creamy, but it's also firm. So it glides on the eyes beautifully and it just gives the perfect amount of shine and texture. If I had to define ROEN's eyeshadows as something, which they're actually called Lid Illumes, that's what I would call it, but if I had to define it, I would say yes, it's a cream. The difference between the Lid Illume and the Disco formula, there's a couple things. So this is the Disco here, and the Disco is a little bit drier in texture, and it has much bigger pearl sizes. So it's pearl reflex, it's not glitter, and there's varying sizes of silver and gold flecks. In the Lid Illumes, I still have the pearl, but the pearl is much smaller, and I would say that the Lid Illumes are also a bit creamier than the Disco. Application tips. Okay, first things first, if you're new to ROEN, it's a magnet open and closure. I would say the biggest thing is just to dig in. I think a lot of people get nervous to touch, so they're kind of doing a little bit of this. I'm an artist, I use product, I dig in, and so you really want to push and swirl your fingers into the product. That's when you actually get a lot of payoff onto your hands, and if you just do like a little bit of a tap, you don't get much. So I think that that's a big thing to note. Also, use your fingers. Use your fingers, get it on your eyelids, and then once you have it on, you can blend it out. I made a brush specifically for these called the Everything Eye Brush. You can definitely use that. Again, when you are using the brush, you want to make sure to really dig in and just get your brush covered in product and just swipe it on. But I think that's the biggest application tip I can give you, and then just relax and have fun. Fingers versus the brush. Well, I think that when you use the fingers, you actually get more color payoff. So you definitely will get more pigment and a thicker layer of product. The brush is going to make everything a little bit softer and a little more diffused. So I'll show you. I have this shade here, J'adore, and with my finger, you can see that swipe of product. If I use the brush, again, I'm swirling it in there. It's hard to do this. You can see it's a lot lighter when you use the brush. So that's the biggest difference.
Side of the brush.
This is the Everything Eye Brush. This is my Everything Eye Brush. I've almost worn off the logo. That's how much I love my brush. So this is made with vegan synthetic bristles. So cruelty-free. The shape and the design of it I made specifically to really just cozy right up into the crease of your eyelid. It's got soft edges, so it picks up product really easily and it distributes it evenly. Also with this bigger side, you can still, it's big enough but not too small that you can put it underneath the eye, and it kind of gives you that really lived in, diffused, blended underneath. But then you flip it and you have the smaller side, which does all of your detail work. So this fits perfectly for the inner corners. You can make a killer line or eyeliner. I also like to use it with regular eyeliners and kind of create a beautiful cat eye. You can detail underneath the eye. It kind of does everything. And I store this in a cup like so, or like so, it doesn't matter. The bristles are firm enough you don't have to worry about it if you put it in a cup. But it's an incredible brush. Everyone that uses it is obsessed with it. Tips or comments on creasing? This is a big question, and I find it, I guess being an artist and working in the industry for so long, I find it to be a funny question because I feel like everyone creases with anything they use. Obviously powders don't crease as much as creams do, but the reason behind it is that we all have creases in our eyelids. So it's really natural for that to occur. There's a couple things. I use a lot of heavy skincare. I use a lot of oils. So I typically crease because of my skin prep. If you use an eyeshadow primer, you'll be less likely to crease. I think the other solution is to apply your eyeshadow to the base of your eyelids and then take it easy with the amount of product that you use in the crease, because you really don't need a lot of shadow there. So if you're focusing a heavy layer in your crease, you definitely are going to crease. But I think it's 2019 and we should all embrace the crease because it's natural and it's what happens, and we're human, and a little bit of undone glamour is really cool.